What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down our wide receiver dictionary episode 3, okay? So this is the third. Every Friday, we're coming at you with a wide receiver dictionary series. So what it is, we're going to be breaking down 3 specific terms that all have to do with the wide receiver position and how you guys can apply that to your own game and how you guys can understand these 3 specific things. So I hope this video gives you guys some value, but also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want a complete training schedule, everything that you need to do on the field, in the gym, just to improve your overall performance as a wide receiver, check out that very first link in the description for our ultimate wide receiver training schedule. What you'll get access to is a 4-week-long on-field plan with all the specific drills to improve your route running, press releases, catching ability, and overall just game, broken down into sets, reps, and we include an instructional video where we break down each drill and a full 4-week-long gym training program where we give you all the exercises you need to do in the gym to improve your on-field performance. So I hope you guys could check that out. I hope your speed, explosiveness, and all the above improve. Very first link in the description below. Let's get started. So first thing I want to talk about here is range. So what is range? If you guys watch my videos, you guys know that I talk about that a lot. And so range is that space where we're forcing the DB to make a decision. So anytime you hear me say range, this is that like 45-degree angle right here where the DB has to either come at you or he has to shuffle with you, but we are forcing him to make a decision, right? So if he stays here and I'm attacking this range, I'm still threatening him vertical. The mistake a lot of receivers will make is they'll either go too flat and they'll stay behind this line of scrimmage, or they'll go too vertical where this DB could get hands and still be able to sit in his base and just hit and just punch, and shuffle with you, right? And watch your hips and stay completely disciplined. So we got to make sure that we live in this range. So that's exactly what Josh Palmer here does out of Tennessee. So he does this little hesitation release, and you see how he's threatening the DB to the outside. His hips and his shoulders are committed, but he's in a spot to where this DB, if he's going to get hands, he has to come at him and he has to leave his base. He has to leave his base behind if he is going to jam, right? But if he wants to just shuffle with him and watch those hips to try to stay disciplined, he's got to actually shuffle with him. And there comes a point in every single route where a DB has to turn his hips. That's the range that you want to operate in. If you could get to this spot consistently, you're going to be very tough to guard, right? Because like, again, it all comes down to a lot of things, right? He's running a slant. So he goes with this like a little hesitation skip. But what if you wanted to go with a wide step? What if you just wanted to step with this outside leg right off the snap to the outside? You'd want to work in that range. What if you wanted to work a diamond release where you take 3 steps on a 45-degree angle? This is the range. What if you wanted to work a slide release where you're a little bit more patient? Maybe you're like a higher read on the play, like a third read, and the quarterback's coming back to you. This is the range that we want to be at. That range is what forces a DB to react. And again, it sets up a lot of things because now as soon as this DB starts to sit to the inside because he thinks that every time you go to the range, you're going to come back. You still have space. You're still forcing him to sit there and watch your hips so you could go to the outside and then just take off. That's the beauty of range. Set a trap for the DB, force him to make a decision. And when he makes that decision, make sure that he is wrong on the decision that he makes. That's a great job by Palmer utilizing range. So that's the first term that you guys got to be able to understand when it comes to press releases. And I know a lot of you are younger, right? A lot of you are younger, the high school youth level. You don't normally see a lot of press coverage, but when you do, and when you do get tried by a DB, you want to make sure that you are prepared because trust me, it will happen. And when you play higher competition schools, expect the DB to come down and try to press you. But we got to be ready for it. And it all brings us back to the same thing. We're all trying to get better here, right? So when you guys are going up against Division I DBs, and maybe you're a guy who doesn't have any offers, maybe you're a guy who's really trying to get his name out there and be recruitable. When that guy comes down to press you, if you could show scouts that are at that game that you could beat their guy, I could beat this guy one-on-one all day long. That's how you guys can get some attention yourself. So you got to make sure that you're prepared for any situation that a DB throws at you. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job utilizing range by Palmer and then obviously creating a ton of separation. Okay, so now, second thing I want to talk about, this is a clip Amari Cooper posted yesterday. It's going to be a slant out route, or some people like to call it a blaze out. This is not a whip route. The thing I want to talk to you about, the second term that wide receivers need to know, or it's more of like a phrase, is stay in stride. So what does that exactly mean? Let's watch this thing full speed. So Cooper does a great job of crossing this guy's face, dropping his hips violently, and then making this play. He ends up cutting the video because he posted this before the catch, but I can pretty much assume that he's going to make the catch on this. He's wide open, right? When you get 5 yards on the goal line, that's huge. So what does stay in stride mean? So a DB on any kind of double move, staying in stride is this right here, where Cooper gives that jab and he's in stride. Those strides don't get shortchanged because he knows a break is coming. He's not prepping for the break. He's not slowing down for the break. That is what so many young receivers do, is that they'll run a double move, like let's say a post corner, for example, real simple one. But on this post stem right here, they take 3 choppy steps. If I'm a DB, I know you're not running a post. Nobody runs a drag. Nobody runs a slant with choppy steps, right? So it's all about deceiving the DB. It's all about being a salesman. So when I can sell this route by being in stride, actually taking a full stride and having speed, and I commit my my hips and my shoulders, that's another thing. That's not even what we're focused on, but the stride is what makes this guy commit. That's what makes him think, oh, he's running, he's going across my face, he's in full stride, he's got full speed, I'm going to go try to drive on this slant. It's about being a salesman, fellas. So any route that you run, you want to stay in stride. If you're running a comeback route like 15 back to 12, you don't want to start shortening your stride at 12 yards. Because if I'm a DB running hip to hip with you, or if I'm backpedaling, I'm going to sit on that thing, fellas. You've got to make sure that we are in stride to get this guy to commit to it, to get this guy to run down, so I can make that sudden change of direction. And the only way I'm able to change direction, by the way, being in stride, is by being violent with your hips. So if you struggle with that, if you're a beat the drum guy, you're going to have a tough time staying in stride into the route. Make sure we stay in stride. Make sure I'm violent with my hips. I get to that low explosive position so I can accelerate out, but at the same time, I'm able to keep that stride as long as possible so we can be a salesman on this route as long as possible. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. And a great way to work on staying in stride, fellas, is to run routes like when you're practicing, like, because again, in the game, you can't think about a whole lot of stuff because you got to play fast. But when you're like practicing routes first air, maybe you're with a trainer, whatever it may be, like let's say you got to run a post route, don't just go run up to 10 yards and run a post. Go off of your third outside step. You got to run a comeback route like 15 back to 12. Go break off that comeback off your fourth inside. Don't just run up to a cone. Don't just run up to yardage and look down, because you're going to prep for the break. The goal is to not prep for it. The goal is to just drop suddenly on a dime. And when you train, you got to make sure that we are doing that off of steps. We are working those specific things off of steps to get used to it and get comfortable to breaking in stride. Let's watch the thing again, full speed. Great job by Cooper accelerating, and then obviously being violent with his hips to get out. All right, guys, if you haven't heard, we are coming to Las Vegas September 11th and September 12th for a quarterback and wide receiver training clinic. So check out that second link in the description below. If you guys are in the Las Vegas area or thereabouts close to it, anybody is welcome to come to this. If you're a quarterback and wide receiver at the youth level, September 11th, it's a 3-hour clinic. And then September 12th, we were having a high school quarterback and wide receiver clinic. So if you guys are around the Las Vegas area, or even if you're not around the Las Vegas area and you're still able to make it out, we'd really appreciate a great opportunity for you guys to get some good work in. We're going to be working on all quarterback wide receiver skills, and we will have a Division I speed coach out there to talk to you about running mechanics and 40-yard dash mechanics. Hope you guys could check that out. Second link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. So the third term that I want you guys to know, and this is kind of a simpler one, I guess you could say, is a restack, okay? So what is a restack? A restack is when pretty much you're just reassessing yourself back over the top, right? So and I'm sure a lot of you know what this means, but I don't know if a lot of you know exactly what the benefit of this means, right? So anytime you guys get man coverage, right? Zone coverage, you don't got to worry about restacking. If he's an off man, chances are you probably won't be restacking. But if you got a press man look and you got a guy who's walking down, trying to get physical, you don't want to force anything that you do, right? So you see how Judy off the line of scrimmage here, when we got this DB who, like, Judy's running a corner route. So ideally, what do you want to do? You want to take an outside release, you want to restack, you want to maybe get a lean into him, whatever. But ideally, you want to take an outside release. But if this DB takes away the outside release, see how Judy kind of comes off and this DB's overcommitted to the outside release. He wants Judy to run to the outside so he could get right into his hip and force him to the sideline. Judy doesn't force it. He takes the inside release, and what does he work to do? He works to restack. That restack, and again, anytime you were trying to restack, there's a couple things you could do. You could work on swatting the hands, but you got to make sure you get the DB's hands off. You could reduce your shoulder and rip underneath, but a lot of different things you can do to make sure that you get back over the top. But if I could get back over the top, I'm able to restack the best I can. I can pretty much do whatever I want with this DB at this point, because if he's restacking and watching my back hip, if I sell the move correctly, if I actually sell with my upper half correctly and really throw my hips, throw my shoulders, give that head fake, everything's saying that I'm running a post, I can get a ton of separation on this. So make sure no matter what, fellas, we are always trying to work to restack. If we can't get a certain release, that's fine. Let's work something else. Let's work to get back over the top. If I can't do a certain thing on the route, like again, like if I'm battling a dude and I'm constantly fighting his hands throughout the route, my number one thought process should be either to restack or throw by. But make sure we are able to restack on every single situation against press man coverage, or at least we are trying to restack, right? You got to have a plan for everything, but you got to make sure, and it's got to be a reactionary plan. We can't be thinking too much, but just make sure we are doing the best we can to restack when we have any kind of route downfield against press man coverage, okay? Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Judy working up to the field, hitting that rocker step, and then obviously accelerating out of this break. Great route. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comments below. I always appreciate the feedback. Always appreciate the things you guys have to say. It helps me come up with new ideas for the channel, so I really appreciate it. And again, fellas, if you guys want a full, complete wide receiver training schedule, everything you need to do on the field and in the gym to take your game to that next level, check out that very first link in the description. And also, if you're in the Las Vegas area, check out that second link in the description below, fellas. You guys would definitely get some good work out of that clinic. I really appreciate you guys making out. I'll see you guys next time.